There's something strange in the neighborhood of Somerville this year, which prompts a new generation of busters to get to work. This is my review of Ghostbusters Afterlife. When a single mom and her 2 kids arrive in a small town, they begin to discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. Now, before I properly start with my review for Ghostbusters Afterlife, I want to know your thoughts on it. If you're excited, if you're a fan of the original films. If you're a fan of the 2016 one, that's perfectly fine. Anything and everything down there in the comments below. And if you like what you see here, make sure to click that subscribe button so you do not miss any future conversations about your favorite movies and TV. Just for a little bit of context, I didn't grow up with the original films. I to this day still haven't seen number 2 because even fans of the original tell me it's just not worth it. So I come into this film as impartial as I can be, not being too much into the previous films, and I had a tremendous amount of fun with this one. It constantly put a stupid smile on my face. It very much feels like a summer movie, which is weird because we're watching it in November, but it has that energy, it has that pizzazz of a summer feel-good film, and that's exactly what it tries to be. Directed by Jason Reitman, who is the son of the original's director, Ivan Reitman, this film, from beginning to end, it feels like a love letter to the past while igniting the fires that will kick this film far into the future. This is an injection of vitality into the franchise, and the job of the film isn't easy because it has to balance all these things when it comes to presenting new fans to the franchise while building this brand new world that you don't want to waste a lot of time for old fans that come in and bring the new generation of fans to watch this film. It's a tricky balance to pull off that I felt the film mostly did a good job at, because it has all the Ghostbustery goodness that you want, tons of Easter eggs spread throughout the film from beginning to end. I can hardly imagine how hardcore fans will feel watching it, and the things that you guys will catch in that third act finale sequence is when the film throws all of its cards on the table, and it's very effective. It really worked for me. It's some really nice surprises in there that I'm not going to ruin for everyone. But what made this one stand out for me was that at its core, there's a really emotional and effective family dynamic guiding the story and the characters through. And I think, to me, that's what I was missing in this franchise, is feeling some sort of attachment, some sort of emotion to any characters, and they really make it work for me in this one, with Carrie Coon as a single mother, Finn Wolfhard, and McKenna Grace as this family that I'm not going to dive a lot into, that have their relatable problems, their understandable struggles. They ground the ghosts and the busting and all that fun stuff that we come here to watch in something that we can grab onto emotionally speaking, that we can be invested in. And all of them are great, but McKenna Grace is a freaking superstar. This film is very much a coming of age story for her, and I love seeing her grow throughout this film and becoming someone who can be comfortable in her own skin, who can be happy with who she is. And I think that's such an important lesson for kids, especially watching this film coming as this new generation of fans. And as someone who has been for a long while a fan of Jason Reitman, I'm really happy to see his passion come through the screen, picking up on the franchise that his dad started. I think there's a poetic beauty to it all, of the son bringing this franchise into the new generation. And he's very much a small story kind of director. Usually it tells this very character-centric story, which explains why the characters are so strong to me in this film. And he totally made the best with the enormous budget that he was given this time. This film has a great amount of stellar visual effects, but also a ton of practical effects. Particularly, they stand out in the third act, and I had a huge smile on my face just because of how good it looked and how practical all of them were. And cinematography-wise, just in general, big swooping shots following the action, capturing all the enormity of what is going on in the film. Again, especially because he's usually not a VFX-heavy blockbuster movie kind of director, so I was really pleasantly surprised with this job on this one. When it comes to the script is where I found most of my issues. The humor, for once, is very 50-50 for me. I never found these films at all to be particularly funny. This one has a few good laughs, don't get me wrong, has a few good chuckles. It's just, I would say, very 60-40, 70-30 at best for me. It is also much lower than I expected. For a summer feel kind of adventure film, it has a kind of slowly but surely kind of pacing. You know it's building to the stuff that it is building to, but it can drag quite a bit. Up until like the 40-45 minute mark, it really takes its sweet time. And it never feels like the film gets out of its own comfort zone. As I said, a ton of Easter eggs throughout. From beginning to end, especially in that third act, fans are going crazy, and I cannot wait to hear what the hardcore fans think. Because even though that family dynamic at its core is very powerful, and to me elevates the film quite a few notches, there's a sense of this film being an extension of that original film. What draws it back is how close it sticks to it. I wish it could have found the balance a little bit more between the embracing of the past and kickstarting into the future. It never feels like the film becomes its own thing until the very end, and I feel that draws it back from its own potential a little bit. But overall, I found Ghostbusters Afterlife to be a pure delight. It'll make original fans feel like kids watching the film in the 80s again. There's warmth, there's humor, there's passion in front and behind the camera, a real fun sense of adventure, but most importantly to me, a really core, strong emotional foundation that grounds the story itself in something relatable. I'm giving Ghostbusters Afterlife a B. Those are my thoughts on Ghostbusters Afterlife. What did you think about it? Let me know all of that in the comments below. Anything and everything, just start the conversation because it's always the most important part. And if you would enjoy what you saw here, make sure to click that subscribe button and go check out all the other reviews that are now available on the channel. I hope to see you in those, and I'll be back very soon with more reviews, and I hope to see you in those. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.